Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on the Python programming language and machine learning. So in this video, I will attempt to predict the future price of Dogecoin using machine learning algorithms, specifically Facebook's or Meta's Profit, which is an open source forecasting tool developed by Facebook's core data science team. Now, I'm currently on Google's website called colab.research.google.com because it makes it easy to get started programming in Python. So if you're going to program along with me, go to this website and then log in using your Google account and then click on File and click on New Notebook in Drive. And this will open up a new tab for you and eventually a new cell for you. And this is where we're going to write our code. So before we begin, if you like the videos on this channel, then be sure to click that subscribe and like button. And to be notified about new videos from this channel, hit that bell notification. Also, you can get the code or dataset or just support the channel on Patreon at patreon.com/computerscience. I will definitely thank you for that, and I do thank you for that. And I will leave a link for that in the description below. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is put in some comments. I want to import the libraries for this program. So I want to import pandas as PD. And then from profit, I want to import profit. Next, I want to import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. And that should do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and run this cell by clicking this button here to the left. And this will let me know if I made any mistakes. So hopefully not. All right, everything's looking good. Let's create a new cell by clicking that code button in the top left. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get the data. So I'm going to create a variable called Doge_data, and I'm going to set it equal to pd.read_CSV. And then I need to input the name of the CSV file that I'm going to upload. And the name of that file is Doge_data_prepared.csv. And then I want to show the first 5 rows of data. So I'm going to type Doge_data.head, just like Google suggested here. And of course, that's head with a left and right parentheses after it. All right, and then if I run this, you'll see that I will get an error message. So I'm just running it now. I get an error message, and that's because we have not uploaded this file yet, this CSV file. So let's go over here to this folder or files icon, click on it, click on the upload button, and we're going to upload Doge_data_prepared.csv, and we get a little warning, and it's okay. So we're just going to go ahead and click OK here. And now we can see that we have that file uploaded. So if we run this cell again, we should be good, and we are. So I'm going to exit out of the left pane. And now let's take a look at our data set, the first 5 rows of data. We can see that we have a column called DS, and we have a column called Y here. Okay, so DS has the date, and Y has the close price for Dogecoin. All right, and we're only looking at the first 5 rows of data. So that looks good. Let's go ahead and create a new cell. And now in this cell, we're going to initialize and then train our model. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is create an instance of the profit forecasting model. So I'm going to create a variable called model and set it equal to profit. Okay, and again, this just initializes the an instance of the profit. Okay, and now we're going to train the model. So another word for train is fit. So we're going to fit the model. So here I'm just going to put fit the model, or how about this, fit slash train the model. So I'm just going to type model dot fit, and then we need to input the data that we want to train on, which will be Doge underscore data. That's our data frame. And that should be it. So let's go ahead and run this. And I'm going to just bring this on down. So it looks good. I'm going to create a new cell. And now we have our model. We have our model trained. Next, we're going to create a future data frame. All right, so I'm going to create a variable called future, and I'm going to set it equal to model dot make underscore future underscore data frame, and I'm going to use period, or I'm going to set periods equal to 365 for 365 days. So Google has already given me this suggestion, so I'm just going to just tab over and tab over, and I want to get rid of this future dot tail, and let's put in some comments for this. So here I'm going to put create a data frame extending 365 days in into the future. Okay, so that should do it for that. And let's go ahead and run this cell. Let's create a new cell. Okay, and now we're going to predict future prices. Okay, so we're going to use that model and then we're going to make predictions for each date in the future data frame. All right, so I'm going to put in comments here. Predict future prices. All right, so we're going to create a variable called forecast, and I'm going to set it equal to model.predict, and then future. We're going to put in our future data set. And let's go ahead and run this. All right, let's create a new cell. Now let's get the length of our forecast data set. All right, and we see that we get 2,924. And this should be equal to, I'm going to create a new cell here. It should be equal to the length of our original data set, which was Doge underscore data plus 365 more rows of data from our future data set. So let's go ahead and run this, and we see that they match. So perfect. So forecast contains our past data and our future data. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just delete this, and I'll just get rid of this. And we'll go ahead and plot that forecast data set. All right, so I'm going to create a variable called fig, which will be short for figure. And I'm going to set it equal to model.plot, and we're going to put in forecast. All right, and then we're going to type plt.title, and I'm going to call this Dogecoin price forecast. We'll leave that for now. That looks good. And then we'll have an X label, or a label on our x-axis called date. So that looks good. Just the next row, plt.x label date. And then we'll have a label on our y-axis called price. So that looks almost good. So I'm just going to just tab over, and I'm going to complete the plt.y label. And I'm going to change the title to be Dogecoin price prediction. Okay. So what we are doing here is we're creating a title for our plot. We're creating a label called date on the x-axis, and then we're creating a label called price on the y-axis. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and put some comments here. So we're just plotting the forecast data. All right, so let's go ahead and run this now. Okay, and now we can see our data points. I also want to add in a legend, so I'm going to type plt.legend and plt.show, and let's go ahead and run this. All right, so now we have that nice legend here. So we can see that the black dots are the observed data points. The blue line is the forecast, and this light blue is the uncertainty interval. All right, so let's create a new cell. And now in this cell, I'm going to show the last 5 predicted prices. So we're going to take our forecast data and I'm going to type dot tail and I'm going to put in the number 7 and let's run this. All right, and so now we get the last 7 rows of data, which means that we get the last 7 dates for our future dates, and we get a bunch of columns here. Okay, but I'm not interested in all of these columns. I'm only interested in a few, and I know what they are, so I'm going to filter this out with those columns. But feel free to take a look at all the different available features in this data set or the columns in this data set. All right, so let's go ahead and filter this. I want to show DS. I want to show Y hat. I want to show Y hat lower. And I want to show Y hat upper. All right, so we want to show the date. We want to show our predicted value or the model's predicted value, the model's lowest predicted value for Dogecoin, and the model's highest predicted value for Dogecoin. All right, so Y hat's like what it thinks it really will be, the actual price will be. So let's go ahead and run this. And now it looks a lot more manageable and a lot more understandable, I think. So we get the last 7 rows of data here, and we can see for November 10th, 2025, this model expects the price of Dogecoin to be about 21 cents. I'm just rounding the 2 decimal places here. And it thinks it could go all the way down to about 8 cents. Again, I'm rounding to 2 decimal places. So I'm just rounding up that 7. And it thinks by this time period, it can go all the way up to about 36 cents. Okay, and we can see that here as well. But now now we actually have actual values instead of just kind of eyeballing it. Okay, and so that means if you had invested in Dogecoin, if you had invested in Dogecoin around this top price here, this high price of a little under 70 cents, you have been losing money and you're not expected to have gained back all of your profit, or sorry, you haven't gained back all of your investment yet, and you it's looking like you won't be gaining back your investment even for another 365 days based on this model. So that's what I was trying to say. Okay, so that's basically it. Thank you for watching this video. I should also say that the material in this video is purely educational and should not be taken as professional investment advice. So invest at your own discretion. Make sure you do more research before you do any sort of investment. Remember that this is just a model. This is just fun. This is just an experiment. And this is to show you how to use Facebook's API, or I should say Facebook's profit, to make future price predictions. And a special thanks to the Patreon supporters on patreon.com. Again, if you would like to become a supporter of this channel, I will leave a link to the Patreon page, which is patreon.com/computerscience in the description below. Thank you for watching again, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. And the last thing I'm going to do here is put in a comment. Show the last 5, last 7 predicted prices. Alrighty. Thank you all, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.